Few things compare to the ear-splitting roar of massive horsepower indoors. A full fleet of old-line legends and legacies have pulled their convoy of jumping juggernauts into one of the meccas of monster trucks. Nestled at the head of the Wicomico River on Maryland's eastern shore, Salisbury is a city that prides itself on a diverse cultural landscape and a rich heritage. Called the commercial hub of the Delmarva, it's also home to one of the legendary venues of indoor motorsports, the Wicomico Civic Center, where tonight, 7 monster trucks will begin a marathon battle for the No Limits East Coast Championship. This special stop for the No Limits Tour really is just that, a family reunion of 7 of the best that the Old Line State has to offer. We told you the story of the Vaders Motorsports Camp last week out in the Hoosier State. We'll continue that this week, but plenty of other stories coming out of the Old Line State. That guy right there, Corey Snyder, one of a couple of second-generation drivers in this building. His father rolled his first monster truck over 17 years ago right here. Corey wanting to kind of bring their name back into the building, and then the father and son team of Rick and Ryan Disharoon. Rick in the brand new Smokin' entry that debuted last summer. Hasn't had a lot of time on it. Ryan, of course, no stranger to the hard-charging world of monster truck competition. You see the floor they have to work with here as our first competitor rolls out for skills competition, the first of 3 competitions here tonight. Trey Myers out of Brunswick, Maryland, the OG, they've been calling him, online driver of Iron Warrior, now back in the namesake that garnered him much popularity in the early 2000s. Now on top of this Eddie Matchka chassis that Trey says is so nice to be in a new generation of truck. He says it lands really well. He's very happy to be back at the wheel again, just trying to get his legs back under him. You got to walk before you can run. I guarantee you Trey is going to have something for us before this weekend is out, but just trying to get a feel for the truck and set the stage. So we'll see what he has here as he opens things up. Not bad. May have wanted a little more. I think that they are going to have a little trouble with the ramps here because the dirt is so soft. It's not really holding the horsepower when they put the foot to it. A lot of material is getting displaced. A score of 14, though. Not bad to start things off solid, but I don't think it's going to hold the lead. Up next, out of Front Royal, Virginia, my neighbor Richie Yatsko, Higher Education. Handling it like a champ, this newly redesigned machine, part of the Vaders Motorsports Camp. And you see the shocks. For those of you familiar with this truck, for many, many years it ran a set of King shocks, 1 per corner, along with an air spring, 1 per corner from King. Now with the shocks that garnered Mikey Vaders in Overkill Evolution 2 championships, a Freestyle and a Young Guns championship. Those shocks are what you are seeing here underneath of the Higher Education cool bus, and it looks like that suspension redesign and some of the changes they made to this chassis, Mike Vaders and RJ Turner, who put a lot of time into getting this truck running right, just netted Richie a score of 20. So he will take the lead now as the legend himself, Mike Vaders, going on 40 years now at the wheel of the Safety Clean Black Stallion. This is the 3rd official chassis to technically carry the Black Stallion name. Debuted in 2007, and Mike still driving with the best of them, just recovering from surgery this week, so we'll see how hard he goes, but I don't think he's ready to let these Maryland fans down. He's in his home state in front of a crowd that he's not competed in front of for quite some time. Looking pretty good. I know he wanted a lot more out of that second hit, but not a bad run at all. And that first Sky Wheelie was very impressive. All those years at the wheel of this machine on the floor of the hockey arenas of the Thunder Nationals, definitely giving him the experience he needs to put the horsepower on the floor here in the Wicomico Civic Center with a score of 22. He will move into the lead now. The second generation machine out of Frederick, Maryland, Corey Snyder in Toxic. As I said, his father Making one of his debut runs here 17 years ago. Absolutely thrilled this crowd by putting the truck on its lid, rolled it over backwards. Corey now wanting to show they can still get the hang time and still wheelie with the best of them. One of 3 Metal Shop Signature Series machines in competition here this weekend. This is the second newest of the 3. We'll be seeing the newest of the 3 in this building. But that crew at the Metal Shop been getting a lot of orders here lately. People very impressed with the quality of these trucks. And Corey with a nice sky wheelie right there. I do believe if it's not close, he's going to be taking over the lead. We'll see. Again, a nice sky wheelie for him right there as the score comes in at 24 for Corey Snyder. He will go into the number 1 spot. We have 3 trucks yet to go, and we talked about the rest of the Metal Shop Signature Series machines in this building. This is the newest of the 3 in this building right now. They have built some other trucks that are out there competing on the circuit, including one of the Jurassic Attack machines that's running for Team Throttle Monster out of Layton, Utah. Here, though, back home in Maryland, Delmar, Maryland's Rick Isharoon. Another guy who's been out of the seat for quite some time, debuted this machine last year. Hadn't had a lot of drive time on him, trying to get the feel of how to do this all over again. And remember, in his heyday, he was driving a Patrick chassis machine. Very different feel to those trucks. Nothing against them, they work great. But this is a whole different beast that's underneath of him right now. The big 557 cubic inch Metal Shop engine in the back. Very underdriven though, so we'll see what he's able to do with it. Roosting the skid steer. Ed Beckley's teeth must be full of sand right now as Rick getting a nice donut there. Took him a second, as I said, underdriven, but that first move did hurt him. A nice donut for him, though, a score of 15. We'll see him improve as the weekend goes on. I guarantee you that, because he and Ryan are going to be trading notes back and forth. And speaking of Ryan, Flying Ryan Disharoon, Saigon Shaker. One of 2 banner machines. Of course, you just saw smoking one of the 2 banner machines for the Metal Shop emblazoned on the side. Ryan, probably the wildest guy in this building right now. We'll see what he's got. And he was very friendly to Corey Snyder right there. Locked it up before he got into the front of that machine. Up on the left-hand side. You can hurt a planetary that way, but all the new parts that go into these machines make them 100 times stronger. They used to be, again, landing hard on that left front corner. Nice job, though. We'll see what the score is at the end of this whole thing. And look at that. He ties Corey Snyder. So the Metal Shop in good company with themselves here this weekend. Got one that stayed in-house and one that went down the road, and they're tied for the top spot right now as RJ Turner rolls out in Overkill Evolution. Kind of a CRD hybrid redesigned by Marty Garza and Mike Vodders with help from One Up Off-Road. RJ looking good right now and trying to live up to that reputation the truck has, but he wants to make it his own. He's not going to follow exactly Mikey's footsteps here, but giving the fans what they want. They love the Overkill Evolution stop. He's trying to get the moonwalk on right there, but again, the dirt's given away a little bit. This is kind of a Bay Area sand with some clay mixed into it, so it's very soft. Look at that. RJ Turner taking the number 1 spot and the skills competition victory. With that move right there, he is standing by with our track announcer, Jeff Bursey.
Look up in the sky. That's where you go, man. There's only one way to go when you're on top, and that's screwing it right into the ground. Right, buddy?
That's right. I learned that from you, though.
RJ's interview is always short and sweet. He'll tell you point blank, he hates doing interviews. One of the nicest guys you will ever meet, but Doesn't like giving interviews. A good win for him, though. Overkill Evolution trying to carry that momentum on into racing. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date info, media, and all your other monster truck needs, visit monstersmonthly.com. And by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go.
The great Tar Heel tradition continues. Daryl Jones Memorial Scooby-Doo Fastest of the Fast and Blown Alcohol Madness return to the Lee County Mud Motorsports Complex, April 22nd and 23rd, featuring an all-out assault and one of the most tradition-rich hill and hole pits in the country, along with the quickest, fastest open class and modified machines on the fast track. 2 days of down and dirty action. Don't miss your chance to see the return of the Fastest of the Fast and Blown Alcohol Madness, April 22nd and 23rd.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Crush This. For a look inside the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast.
Back with the No Limits Monster Truck Tour here in Salisbury, Maryland. Taking a look at the round 1 bracket. Saigon Shaker and Iron Warrior will go at it in a pairing number 1. It'll be Black Stallion taking on Toxic. Corey Snyder, a former member of the Botters Motorsports Camp, now in his own machine. And then Higher Education and Smokin' rounding out round 1. And you can see Overkill Evolution, by virtue of winning the skills competition, gets an automatic seed into the semifinals. That may hurt him, though, because he will not get as many runs on this track as the guys who have to compete here in round 1. Now, Trey Myers rolling out to the line to see if he can knock down the young gun. Ryan Disharoon and Saigon Shaker, our first pairing of round 1, about to get underway here in Salisbury. Late lead for the Iron Warrior. Saigon Shaker has about a half a straight lead on him right now. And much more than that crossing the finish line. So a good win for the Jeep Kaiser here in round 1. He'll move on into the semifinal round where he'll take on the winner of our next matchup. And look at that, he's already lost the tailgate. This machine recovering from a serious crash last week at a Monster Jam event. Now as our next pairing rolls out, Corey Snyder in Toxic, taking on Mike Fodders in the Safety Clean Black Stallion, who we are still waiting to see pull out of the pits. In fact, he has not fired. Corey's sitting there in the staging lanes now, getting hot. There you see the Stallion crew trying to figure out what's going on. It looks like, okay, they're headed over to get a jump box. Not enough charge to refire that truck, so that means they may need to replace a battery before the end of the day. Right now, though, they're just going to try to get the truck fired and to the line. And we do hear fire. Black Stallion is going to make it to the starting line. How will the truck run, though? This is to determine who will face Saigon Shaker in the semifinal round. Fodders, don't ever count him out. Sometimes he'll sandbag a little bit. He'll probably hate me for saying that, but this guy loves to put this new generation down any chance he can get. But he only wants to do it in the dirt. He does not want to beat you in the pits. Doesn't want to beat you with the attitude. He wants to beat you on the track. And he loves to knock these guys out in racing. We'll see what he's got here. The Safety Clean Black Stallion right now staging up. Going to go toe-to-toe with Corey Snyder. Corey going up against his former boss, Mike Fodders. Toxic 2.0 versus Black Stallion. Here we go. Good launch for both trucks. Stallion actually had a little lead into the first turn, but Snyder's closing it up. into the pod, and it hurt him there going into the final corner. Corey Snyder in Toxic 2.0 picking up a victory. Beats his boss in the first round, and he will move on to the semifinals to take on his chassis builder. All in good company here in the Wicomico County Civic Center. You see right there, Vodder's hitting that pod and bounced the rear end around. Luckily, the sand right now, being as lucid as it is, doesn't have a whole bunch of tack, so it kept him from rolling it over. There you see Robbie Williams, our competition director, getting Rick Disharoon to the line. Rick will come around to this side nearest the balcony, and he'll take on Richie Yatsko out of Front Royal, Virginia, driving the Higher Education Cool Bus. Richie, the Old Dominion driver in the Old Line School Bus, ready to take on one of the legends of the sport in that beautiful 68 GMC. Another late leave out of the Vodder's Motorsports camp. Evened it up a bit at the finish, but Disharoon will pick up that victory by about a half a truck length at the finish line. You see Richie ran over the turn marker. Don't worry about that. That's not a disqualification or a penalty as long as you actually make the corner within the bounds of the marker. There you see our semifinal matchup. Saigon Shaker taking on Toxic 2.0. Pair of Metal Shop Machines, and that's Overkill Evolution. RJ Turner and that Marty Garza, Mike Vodder's design CRD Hybrid taking on Smokin'. Rick Disharoon now. As I said, pair of Metal Shop Machines. This should be a pretty even matchup. Pair of 557 cubic inch Chevy block engines in these machines, also designed by the Metal Shop. This is definitely a banner battle for these guys right here. Disharoon right there in the Saigon Shaker. Probably be happy however this turns out, but isn't going to give Corey Snyder and Toxic the victory. Here we go, the first matchup of the semis, ready to get underway. Corey Snyder with a massive lead right now. Handled that track in style. The big green and black Ford on a mission as he just mauled that turn marker on the way back to the pits. That traffic barrier is flat right now. What a run for the Ford. Knocking out the big Jeep. That may be the best run I have seen that truck lay down in the entire time that they've been getting that thing dialed in terms of a race pass. We've seen him lay down some awesome runs, but that was a beautiful, beautiful Chicago-style pass for Toxic 2.0. Now, Metal Shop Machine over on the pit side, matching up with the machine out of the Vodder's Motorsports camp over here on the balcony side, RJ Turner. He'll tell you he does not like racing, but I'm going to go ahead and call him a liar on that one. He likes to get going, although we have apparently a miscommunication here on the starting line. As I didn't finish that thought, Rick Disharoon started to take off. Apparently the light flickered on him, so we'll see what's going on there as they restage him. Apparently no harm, no foul. Both staged, waiting on green. RJ is away. Rick Disharoon now just taking off. And we're going to have to go back to a replay right now. I don't believe RJ took the start, but that light was not green in Rick's lane when RJ took off. And now Overkill with a steering problem. It's not going to matter. Smokin' is going to go ahead and pick up that victory, but that race was a total mess. I know that's not the way they wanted it to go down, but we're going to watch it again. Watch the light up near the center of your screen, just above the pod. It's red, it turns off, goes green. RJ took off on the first green. It went dead again, though, on Rick, and that's what it did the first time he took off. He may have thought it was another light malfunction, which it was, but that green right there is the green Rick should have gone on initially, so they're going to have to get together and get these starting lights working properly. A cold night here on the Bay. The final round's coming up, but before we get into that tough truck action coming your way from here in Salisbury, stay with us.
Listen up. It doesn't matter if you just watch your first show or you're a longtime fan of the sport and you want to know more about monster trucks, well, tune into the Throttle Out Show on Monday and Thursday nights, live on our YouTube channel at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. You'll get the inside scoop and all the behind-the-scenes footage and monster trucks and soon-to-be all other motorsports. Life is better when your foot is to the floor, so remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
Wicomico Civic Center here in Salisbury, Maryland, getting ready for Tough Trucks round number 1. We got a bunch of them here. There were only 3 in the parking lot kind of right before the show started, and then as things got underway, a slew of these guys showed up. Here comes Brad Kovacs out of the state of Virginia, driving Jeepers Creepers. Robbie Williams, of course, our competition director here tonight, owns that truck. He can't compete because he's the competition director, conflict of interest. Brad Kovacs taking the wheel as the independent competitor here tonight, although a lot of people don't want that truck to win just because it is Robbie, but we'll see what Brad can do with it. Digging in, you see how sandy this track is as he makes that corner, and I'll tell you, the monster trucks turning down there did not do him any favors in 11:13 to set the pace for the red and black Grand Cherokee here in Salisbury. Up next, a tough trucking classic right here. John Bonneville in the Chevy Silverado or Scottsdale. I can't tell with the bed off, but that is what a tough truck looked like when I was growing up, pre-pro era. Really gives you vibes of the old John Youngblood machine from the USA Motorsports days. Having some trouble getting off the line, though. It did not look like it was in four-wheel drive right there as he sunk down into the soft sand. Going after an 11:13 for the number 1 spot. Not going to do it. A 15:11 for Bonneville, and definitely not going to get up there with the pace setter Brad Kovacs. Up next, Buddy Hubbard. I believe a local right here. Don't have a ton of information on these guys in this gray Ford Explorer. These machines tend to get kind of interesting on these tough truck tracks, although it's kind of hard to get a lot of speed on this sand. So we'll see what happens now as Hubbard lines up and waits on the green. He's getting the crowd pumped up. There's a nice lift right there as he drives over the front bumper of that Ford Explorer, going wide, but he's got a heavy right foot, so it may make up for it there. Let's see, 12:03 just off the pace. Not going to get him into the number 1 spot, but got the crowd on their feet. That's as much a part of the show as getting the number 1 spot on the clocks. Up next, Zach McCutcheon in rather shiny, other than the front end, Honda Accord. We'll have to see how a front-wheel drive 4-cylinder vehicle does here on this sand. Don't picture this machine doing particularly well, so we'll wait and see what he can do with it as he gets the green from Gage Mercy up on top of the pod there. And just like I thought, chassis actually was touching the ground there, and the bumper cowling getting ripped off, turns way inside, knocking pieces and parts off the car. Not the ground clearance he needs. 14:22. I believe he got a penalty on that run too for not going around the turn marker correctly, but it didn't matter. The crowd liked it. He left some plastic and whatnot all over the track. Another Ford Explorer, Teddy Bird. Another one with the We Buy Junk Cars Emblazoned on the side. There we go, getting after it. So far, the Explorers have been the crowd favorites. I think it's going to continue. Look out, right into the side of the pot of 1333. Again, not going to get him in the number one spot, but it's not going to matter. Let's watch it again. Watch him in the cab. You see the white helmet. Look at that. Put his head into the passenger seat. Teddy Bird going for a ride. The red Ford Explorer. Up next, a guy who's definitely got a pro-level machine here. Bryce Thacker out of Virginia. This beautiful red and white Bronco 2. This thing is built for tough truck racing. He could be a major threat to Brad Kovacs. Again, chasing the 11-13. Nice hang time right there as the front housing digs into that sand. Hard hit at the end, 12.65. Not going to do it for Thacker. Kovacs will remain in the number one spot. That final jump, watch him. Not really getting knocked around the cockpit there as he... Again, pro-level machine. He's strapped in there pretty tight. Now, Jeff Lewis, another Honda Accord. Let's see how this one does. Kind of in the same boat as McCutcheon there earlier in his Honda Accord. Let's see. Waiting for that skid steer to get off the track. He is fixing that turn area down there. Trying to smooth it out as these guys were really bogging down. There goes the rear bumper cowling. Dragging it around in two big old pieces, and he'll cross the finish line. I guarantee you that's not going to get fast time honors. 15:43 for Jeff Lewis. Our next machine is ready to come to the line. I believe this is Robert Ross. Yes, it's Robert Ross now with the XJ. These machines make great tough trucks. Let's see what he's got. Kind of took it easy on the first jump. Pawing and digging in the little Cherokee as he comes around. Magnet comes off the side right there. A 12.91 for Ross, so they've still not bettered that 11.13 laid down in the first pass. Up next, Dylan Ross. That's my favorite thing to see roll out of the tunnels, by the way, as a fan. I got to tell you, it's the pickup truck with no bed on it. Old Mazda right here. Mazda Ranger, we're going to call this thing. Mazda did design the Ranger. In this generation, we will see what he's got. In four-wheel drive. Trying to keep it on the ground, the front end. Kind of a basketball with those A-arms and coils. Nice run right there, a 13.15. I'm interested to know if those clocks are totally right. As he pushed that thing pretty hard. It did not look like a 13.15, but that is what the clocks are saying he ran. I have a feeling when he comes back, he's going to pick up some time there as Sam Hall rolls out now in the Grand Cherokee with the flashing lights. False intake on the hood. Let's see what he's got here. Waiting for Gage Bursey to give him the green. See the transfer case right there off the starting line did not engage properly. Kind of a tame run, but it looked quick. A 12.61. So our next machine rolls out John Smith. Big old six-cylinder F-150. He's got him some fans in the building, and I think he might be ticking a few people off, but he's going to have to put his money where his mouth is if he can even get this thing off the line. The right rear is spinning like crazy. I think he was in one-wheel drive for a moment there. Look at him bouncing this thing around. Not a lot of hang time, but he definitely made some thunder in the building. 1675 for John Smith. Looking for a little bit more out of that. Man representing the South right there. Here was my favorite machine when we came in here. Saw it sitting out in the parking lot. Brandon McCormick in this beautiful late model Ford Bronco. Full size. These tend to make really, really powerful tough trucks. Let's see what he's got. Nice hang time right there. There go the beauty rims. McCormick is moving. And he bounces off the pod in 11.16. 300ths off the pace. Well, watch this run again. Look at that hang time right here. Watch the left front. There goes the beauty rim. And he makes this corner right here. Bang! Just catches the edge of that pod. Not quite as bad as Teddy Bird did earlier. Now Jimmy Hall in this long bed Toyota Tundra. See how he does. Boy, he's not afraid of it. Look at all the pieces and parts coming off of that thing. I don't know what came out of the cab. If it was chunks of the cockpit or garbage. Look at the back underway right there. Definitely punishing this beautiful gray machine. It's still shiny. It's got license plates on the back. I think he drove it here in 1796. That stall definitely hurt him, but we got to get another look at that. Watch him when he lands. Watch all the crap come out of the cab. Look at this. That might be the best jump of the event, but look at that. There goes some trash out of the bed. I don't know if that, what is that, an old seatbelt hanging out of the window? I don't know what that is. Brittany Longfellow now in the Dodge Durango. Let's see what she can do. Well, opening up the hatch. There goes the turn marker. No harm, no foul. It's a good thing they took the rear window out of that thing before she went down the track. Bouncing that hatch like that, she would have had a whole interior full of glass pebbles of 1470 for the Durango. So Brad Kovacs apparently still hanging in there right now as our next machine rolls up. It's a Jeep Grand Cherokee with the back end cut off. That's Mike Winnig. This thing screams tough trucking. Taking it pretty easy on that first leg. Using the conservatism over the jump to make a better turn. What was the time at 12:86? So Winnick laying down a good run. We'll have to wait and see. They'll all have another shot at the clocks here in round number 2. That'll be coming up in just a few moments now as Chris Weiss rolls out. Another member of the Busted Knuckles crew. We see this guy up and down the road, usually with his camera, now here running in a tough truck. Saw this guy light up Robbie Williams' Jeep here back in 2019. Burst into flames when he came over the finish line. Here in this classic machine, I'm pretty sure the right rear shocks are done on this truck. Little blue and white Ranger moving right now. 13:21 for Chris Weiss. He lays down a shot there. That will wrap up round 1 of Tough Trucks. The Monster Truck Finals, though, coming at you when we come back. And the final round of Tough Trucks. Stay with us.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Back in the Wicomico Civic Center in Salisbury, Maryland, getting ready for the final round of Chicago-style monster truck racing, a battle of two Metal Shop Signature Series machines. Corey Snyder in Toxic. Look at him trying to run off Rick Disharoon in Smokin'. Rick. Boy, he's ready to go right there, putting the power to him. Big zoomies thundering through this arena here at Eastern Maryland as we get ready to crown a racing champion here in Salisbury. Rick doing the dry hop there, trying to get the grip off the starting line. You can see him really blow the tires off there. We will see. Will it be the BKTs or the Marchers over there on Toxic that are able to dig into this soft soil on the first leg? This should be a good matchup here in the finals. The legend and the young gun ready to go. Snyder getting the slingshot off of that first turn. Wild landing there across the finish line for Disharoon. And Snyder notified that he picked up the victory. Toxic 2.0. Picking up a win over one of his chassis builders. Watch it again. Rick actually caught the light just a hair, just a tread before Corey Snyder, but watch that turn right there. Snyder off of that first turn, just slingshotted out of there once he got that truck straight. And Snyder picks up a very impressive win. Said he wanted to lay a claim to this building. His dad laid a claim to it 17 years ago with a wild freestyle run, and now Corey can put his name in the record books here as well. A racing victory. He is with Jeff Bursey.
It's a win for the Metal Shop. They got some awesome equipment, and you are rocking the house, buddy. I tell you what, man, not many people know this, but there's something special about this place. And I can honestly say that from almost day one of being in this business. 15 years, actually 17, 18, almost 20 years ago, I watched my old man when I was just a little kid. Before, right here, right on this dirt. And who would have thought, maybe 20 years later, I'm here in this building with this awesome truck that the Metal Shop hooked up with us. Man, those guys are the hardest working guys in the business. And it's an honor to be with them. It's an honor to be with the crew, the guys that I used to work for. And it's pretty cool to have my dad sitting right here. Where it all started 20 years ago. No doubt about it. This business has spanned generations. Daddy Dictionary, not behind the wheel anymore, but man, I'll tell you what, Corey's just rocking it out. I'm so proud of him. Yeah, he said 17 years ago, we flipped over our first monster truck right here to checkered flag. Corey was learning at the time, and look at him now. I'm so proud. This is awesome. It's a great night. Ladies and gentlemen, Corey and Jay Snyder, Team Toxic.
But Maryland fans definitely not disappointed tonight. It's all in the family. A group of 7 Maryland machines here representing now as we get back to Tough Trucks. Round number 2. Very popular victory there with Corey Snyder. Now let's see who takes the win in the Tough Trucks. Brad Kovacs right now leading with that 11-13. See if he can better that time. He's running a lot harder now. Hard hit there at the end. I don't know if he did some damage there or not. Look at that, a 1076. He just made it real hard on everyone behind him. Watch him, though, as he comes over the finish line, landing sideways, hammering the left front. And you may be able to see now there is snow on top of these trucks that have been sitting outside. They're very cold as the temperature is dropping quick. We have blizzard conditions rolling into the Bay Area right now as Robert Ross gets ready to round the final corner here in the little XJ that could. 11:20, looking good but not good enough. Next machine up, Mike Wittick. Guy was quick in round number 1. Has to do better than that 1067. I think he did. Look at that, at 10:41, Mike Wittick. The Grand Cherokee with the chopped rear end moving into the number 1 spot. Look at him getting rocked and rolled in the cab. Again, though, his starting line launch, not overdriving the first jump, I think is what's kept him quick. Here now is Jeff Lewis minus the rear bumper cowling in that, I believe it's an 07 Honda Accord, rolls around the floor. He's moving quick here. They packed down the dirt a little bit. In between the first round of tough trucks and the final round of monster trucks, so I don't believe there's as much loam sitting on top over here on the balcony side in the corner of this horseshoe-shaped track. Dylan Ross, the Mazda Ranger, rolling to the line. Let's see what he can do. Got a little wheel stand coming off the jump there. Nicely done. Hard hit there at the end. 10:66. Dylan Ross moving into the number 2 spot. Knocks Brad Kovacs down into the number 3 spot. Sam Hall now with the flashing lights on the Grand Cherokee. Stages up, gives the thumbs up to Gage Mercy and gets the green flag. Moving quick, I don't think quick enough, 11:39. Not going to do it as Buddy Hubbard rolls out now in this Wild Explorer. He was the first guy to really put that right foot down and fly over that first jump. We'll see what he's got left because he punished that Explorer in round number 1. Look at that, he's antsy to get off the line. Does it again, carrying the front end. Almost puts it on its side. Buddy Hubbard moving hard. Hurt his time there when he had to save it. A 13:38 for Hubbard. So the 12:03 from round 1 will stand now. Zach McCutcheon, the other Honda Accord. I believe that was the first Honda Accord we saw in round 1. There goes the rear bumper. Dragging the cowling around the sand. I don't think he's going to get, no, not at all. 12:07, not bad considering, but need a little more ground clearance to really carry that speed around here as the front end is having to drag the whole car through this sandy, kind of, it's almost like a beach sand down here. As, again, it came off the Bay Area, and they add a little clay to it, kind of get it some compaction. As Bryce Thacker rolls out now in the Pro style Ford Bronco 2 out of the Old Dominion. This guy can get it done. A little bobble going into that corner, but a beautiful apex coming out. That little slowdown, though, I think hurt him at 11:21. So Thacker will set his time for the final standings with that. 11:21. He betters his first round time. Here comes Teddy Bird, still getting after it. Going real wide. Look at that line that those guys laid down. I think the front end's about gone on that thing at 13:60 for Teddy Bird. So 13:33 will hold up from round 1. Here comes John Smith. Late model F-150 with the flatbed. See what he can do here in round number 2. He had a lot of trouble getting off the starting line. Again, look at that. The right rear is just spinning hard. He's really not going anywhere. Pushing it. Look at that. He tried to dirt track it. Nicely done. 14:27. Not the time he was looking for, but that was impressive going through that corner like that. But that starting line launch absolutely killed him. Here comes John Bonneville. The No-Box Chevy. See what he can do here in round number 2. There we go. Looks like it's in 4-wheel drive now. I think he was only in 2 in the first round. He may be having a problem with the transfer case going in and out as he bounces across the finish line at 10:46. He will move into the number 2 spot with that run, and I think the drivetrain went away on him there at the end because he could not shut that thing down. Look at that. Bouncing and trying to stop it before he gets to the barriers there. The rear brakes finally lock him up there as he gets over by the tunnel and the barricades. Here comes Brandon McCormick. Ford Bronco that put on a show in round 1, although I don't know how healthy it is right now here in round 2. Pushing hard, doesn't look too bad. Really having trouble. He gets dragged out to the far side of that corner. 11:16 though. That'll be his fast time, and I believe that'll seat him into the number 5 spot for the moment. So the leaderboard shows us Mike Whittick, John Bonneville, Dylan Ross, Brandon McCormick, and Brad Kovacs and Brandon McCormick rounding out the top 5. Here comes Brittany Longfellow now with the hatch still open. Gotta be getting a little cold inside that Dodge Durango. The grocery getter getting knocked around here on the floor of the Wicomico Civic Center. Looking good though, a 13:23. That will be her fast time for the night as Chris Weiss rolls out of the tunnel. Our final competitor here in the Tough Truck time trials. We will see what he's able to do. This is a truck that I think could put a hurting on the rest of the field. They have a lot of plans for this machine once they get it back home. He just recently purchased this truck from another builder. You can see it's a little worse for wear right now. He's really having trouble in that corner. Not looking too bad, but he's not going to do it at 12:55 for Weiss, and that will be his fast time. As we look over the top 6, there you see Mike Whittick, John Bonneville right there in the 1040 range, Dylan Ross and Brad Kovacs both getting into the 1060s, and then we drop into the 11s with Brandon McCormick with the Bronco who hung in there, and Robert Ross hanging in the number 6 spot. We're not done with the monster trucks, of course, though. If you've seen the monsters before, you know, though, we wrap things up by going freestyling. The prep is underway, getting these trucks ready to throw down. You're not going to want to miss this. Stay with us. We will be back to Salisbury, Maryland. Back in Salisbury, Maryland, the No Limits Monster Truck Tour invading the Wicomico Civic Center here on the bay. As the snows come down outside, word is we may be moving the Saturday shows, both of them, to Sunday. These guys working their way through a marathon weekend, getting things started off here in freestyle. Trey Myers out of Brunswick, Maryland, driving the Iron Warrior. Third truck he's driven with this namesake on it. It's a name he made very popular after he purchased the original Iron Warrior from Glenn Boland back in the early 2000s. Glenn, the Floridian, drove the original Iron Warrior with the double cantilevers front and rear. Now in this truck drove Mike Vitter's Black Stallion 2000 as Iron Warrior for a while. Matt Cody took over that ride. Matt debuted this machine with that namesake, and now Trey at the wheelless Eddie Matchka chassis with the overtime shocks underneath, and Trey says this truck lands just about as good, if not better, than anything else he's ever driven. A nice run to start things off here. I know he'll be throwing it down a little harder as the weekend goes on, but just getting things underway as he, again, gets used to driving, and especially in this new technology, a score of 14 to start things off for Trey Myers. Now Rick Disharoon out of Del Mar, Maryland. and smoking the big GMC bodied machine, the 557 cubic inch Chevy block metal shop racing engine. This guy not too far from home. They're only about 20 minutes down the road, so we know they're going to try to throw down here this weekend. These guys are definitely going to be a threat to anybody else in this building, as they have the least distance to travel to pick up parts. Creeping around a little bit. I don't know if he keeps up this pace, if he's going to be able to put down a winning run, but I know he's going to have something for this crowd before this night is over. Nice hit right there as he makes some thunder here in the rafters of the Wicomico Civic Center. Hometown legend laying it down. Pushing it right there, and got to look at it again. I think he may have a broken axle, as he had some problems. I do believe the right rear axle may have broken. That or he lost the locker in the rear end, but I think, yeah, look at the way the truck is launching to the right. Right rear tire is not pulling, as he's going to now have to fight through a broken truck for the remainder of this run, and that's definitely going to hurt any chance of getting that big hang time he wanted to, as he's not going to be able to really line the thing up and use that low-end torque to launch the thing. I'm not sure what hit that axle broke on, but you can see right there that right rear is just not pulling. There we go. Pivoting around that broken axle, that's what he was looking for. A nice donut to wrap up that freestyle run. Rick Disharoon, not what he was looking for on night number one. I guarantee you he is disappointed at the wheel of that beautiful GMC bodied metal shop chassis machine, but he'll have two more shots at it. He didn't give up, fought through a broken truck, and that should go a long way toward his overall score here as we wait for that score to come up. Look at him throwing that sandy soil all over the tunnel side of this building. A score of 15. Not what he was looking for, as I said, but that team is far from done for the weekend. Up next, the legend, Mike Vauders Sr. out of Hagerstown, Maryland, in the safety clean Black Stallion. This number 3 chassis replaced the Black Stallion 2000 machine as the banner truck on this team back in 2007. It's when the Stallion 2000 started running as Iron Warrior with Trey Myers at the wheel. After the sale of the original Iron Warrior, that ended up in the hands of Kevin King. Now Mike Vauders driving this machine. Debuted all those years ago, and he's running a nice right here. Got some good hang time off of the downside of the stoppie ramp. Getting the front end up nice and high. Again, this guy spent many, many years in hockey arenas, just laying down some of the best runs that fans were able to see on an independent level inside of these small facilities, and he has not lost a thing. Keep in mind, he's just now recovering from surgery, and not a real serious surgery, but surgery nonetheless, now getting bounced around the cab of a 12,000-pound monster truck. Looks like he's going to wrap the run-up right there. Mike Vauders Sr. laying it down in the safety clean Black Stallion out of Hagerstown, Maryland. Looking good right here as he raises the bar, I can guarantee you that run is going to take over the lead. Look at him get the front end straight up in the air as he plows off the corner of the pod right there. The safety clean black stallion. Scores coming in on the run for Michael Vader Sr. 23 to take the #1 spot. He knew he'd have to lay down a good one because his other trucks, his teammates, the young guns of that team coming up right behind him. Here comes Richie Yatsko out of Front Royal, Virginia in higher education. This is one of those machines that the body alone nets it a lot of praise as a fan favorite. If Richie can get this thing in a good rhythm during this freestyle run, he could potentially pick up a victory. He's going to have to go hard, though, and I know this team does not want to damage that brand new body that they've got on that school bus. Another Trey Myers creation, shrouding that former, I believe that's a former Phantom Motorsports chassis underneath it there. That chassis has a very interesting history that don't even have time to go through here. But Richie, look at that nice hang time right there for the school bus. Shock's definitely working on this thing. And the suspension modifications they made definitely seem to have taken a lot of the excess body roll out of this truck that it had. Made it kind of a shorter drive as we've seen it over the years. Nice hit off the race lane right there. And that'll be all for Richie. A 21 falls just short of Mike Vader's in Black Stallion, who will maintain the lead. Our final 3 trucks getting ready to come out here in freestyle. You see him RAI test toxic. He will be up when we come back to the Wicomico Civic Center. Stay with us. Back in the Wicomico Civic Center, Salisbury, Maryland, getting ready for the final 3 competitors here in Monster Truck Freestyle. Corey Snyder going to work in the Metal Shop Signature Series Toxic 2.0 out of Frederick, Maryland. Team Shop out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. He and his father fielding this machine, as I mentioned earlier. His father made one of his debut runs right here in Salisbury, Maryland at the wheel of Screamin' Demon, the former Gary Bauer machine. Put it on its lid, turned this crowd on, and laid claim to this soil. Beautiful run going here for Corey Snyder. He's moving corner to corner, end to end, wasting no move, wasting no momentum. Lining it up, getting wild right there. Got sideways, caught the corner of the pod. He has to back up, but avoided flipping that truck. This has got to be a takeover run right now. Corey Snyder in Toxic. Moving hard, another nice hit for the big Ford out of Bethesda, Maryland. 557 cubic inches of metal shop horsepower gone to work here on the sandy surface at the Wicomico Civic Center. Watch a couple of highlights again. Getting that big Ford grill flying high in the air. This was a wild move right here. Almost got himself in some big trouble. But Disharoon and the crew built these metal shop machines to be able to take those sideways hits and definitely use that truck to its full potential. And he takes the lead with a score of 26, and he needed it. because coming up right behind him, the former world champion freestyle machine being piloted by one of the most aggressive drivers in the business, R.J. Turner at the wheel of Marty Garza and Mike Vodder Sr.'s Overkill Evolution, normally driven by Mikey Vodders. Right now, up in Canada, waiting out restrictions. In the meantime, his buddy R.J. trying to live up to the name. Starts off with the stop. He started to get that moonwalk in there. Let's see what R.J. has. The big 572 cubic inch Ford racing engine in the back. Generations of knowledge going to work and making this machine capable of performing the way it does, and it's showing right here. Even with a relatively inexperienced driver in terms of the truck, RJ has plenty of experience wheeling one of these big machines around an arena floor, so that's working in his favor. One of the biggest things, though, is the truck that he drives, War Wizard, runs a spool front and rear. This truck has a locker in the rear and an open front end, and he got wild right there as he comes sideways off the pod. That four-link geometry working in his favor for sure. No wasted effort in this run, and he's going for the stoppie again. Right back up the ramp, R.J. Turner, an Overkill Evolution. Out of Knoxville, Maryland, laying it down in the big bad Overkill Evolution Ford. The CRD hybrid, the Garza Vodder's know-how going into making this machine one of a kind. And again, those wild landings that he took off the pod, you can see this truck does a lot of work for the driver, but make no mistake, you gotta know how to wheel one inside of tight confines to lay down a run like that. A score of 28 to take the #1 spot away from Toxic. R.J. Turner laying it down, and let me tell you, even with that score, he's going to get an earful from the boss because Vodders told him to clear the pad. He didn't do that. Here comes Ryan Disharoon out of Delmar, Delaware, the chassis fabricator of the Toxic 2.0 machine, this Saigon Shaker, and his father's truck smoking, as well as a slew of other vehicles across the country now. One of the quickest growing fabrication operations in the business. Hitting the track right here to close things up, and we know Ryan has no intention of losing this freestyle competition. He's got to push this machine to the limit. Almost cleared it. He'd be the first, and a real gentleman right there as he let off of it to let the truck kind of slide around Toxic as he gets, oh, there you go, right into a stoppie. One wheel stand coming back, trying to clear the pod. He's on the nose again. Ryan Disharoon, not such a gentleman now as he bangs tires with Toxic 2.0. Tearing it up right there as he winds up the run. Crowd in the peanut gallery loving that one. A big hand from the other teams as well as his entire metal shop crew. They're all out in force. He's got family in the crowd. He knew he was going to lay down an awesome run. I have to believe that was a takeover, but we'll see. Indeed, it was a score of 29 by 1 point. Ryan Disharoon and Saigon Shaker becomes the third champion on this first night here in Salisbury. And keep in mind, we are just getting warmed up here this week. And as we take a look at a few highlights from the run, again, the first guy to really come close to clearing the whole pod. And then this awesome move, look at this one-wheel wheel stand into a stoppie, very unexpected stoppie, stood it there on the nose. And then, of course, coming back the other way, once he set it down, cases the pod trying to clear it and rides the front tires right up against the hot pits. That's why they don't let anybody stand over there during the performances. What a night it's been. We're not done. 2 more to go from here in Salisbury. Our congratulations to our champions. Corey Snyder, your racing champion. RJ Turner, your skills champion. And Ryan Disharoon, your freestyle champion, as well as our tough truck competitors. We will see you next time.